Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. Today is Friday, December 22nd, 2023, and we get together most weekday mornings. We will not be getting together Monday, of course, because of the holiday, so we'll resume on Tuesday. As we're close to the end of the calendar year of 2023, obviously, and close to starting a new year, 2024, it's probably a good time to step back and think of a key word, and that key word is strategy. What is our strategy? So if we're a small business owner, it's probably a good time to figure out what is our strategy? What are our goals for the upcoming year? If we're one of our distribution partners, thank you for being such. And it's a great time to decide, what are my goals? What, in this case, what are your goals as a distribution partner for the upcoming year? From my experience, I think annual goals are a bit abstract, but it's fine to have those. I would bring those back down to a monthly basis. So what are my goals for January? January 2024, what is it that I want to accomplish with my business? And again, whatever your business may be. I'm going to speak today more specifically of those of you who are either current distribution partners or contemplating becoming one. So I think it's good to have a written goal. So we taught in school about SMART goals. A good goal is a SMART goal. And each of those letters in SMART stands for something. S for specific, M for measurable, A for obtainable, R for realistic, and T for timely. So quite simply, I would challenge each of you to state what your goal is for the month of January in terms of dollars, in terms of deposits into your account. Because certainly I think most of us are led by the mission, by the vision, by the desire to help people improve their financial literacy. But ultimately, this has got to be profitable for you. And if it is profitable for you, you'll hang around and we'll be able to help more people. If it's not profitable for you, you'll find something else to do that is more profitable. So let's start by thinking about for the month of January. And I know we're not done with December yet, and we have a lot of time and a lot of people to help and a lot of money to make in December. But now is a great time to create a plan for January. Earlier this week, we had a training on referral marketing. I think it was Wednesday, which would have been December 20th. And we talked about pretty much a surefire approach to getting referrals from bankers, from CPAs, from insurance agents, from others in the business to business space. So if you missed that training on Wednesday, I strongly recommend that you go back and view it carefully, because it very well could be part of your plan, part of your strategy to meet your January goals. So let's work backwards. If our goal is, if what we're intending to do is to set our monetary income goal for January, we need to be clear on how we make money, because it's the number of people that we help times the amount of money per client that will dictate what your income is. So as a distribution partner, most of us are focused, as shared here on the page, working off of the grant. The startup program, and we talk about this daily, and I'm not going to go into the mechanics as much today as we talk about strategy and goal setting, but certainly this is primarily what most of us are going to the marketplace with. Well, why? Why would we lead with the grant and the startup business funding package? Well, it's quite simply because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, and or people that want to own a small business. So lots of them. I would go out on a limb and say most of them, probably the vast majority of them, are looking for capital that they need. They want capital to start to grow, to reach their potential. So we have an immense market, but there's a significant gap in that marketplace. Most of those small businesses are not fundable. Worse yet, most of them don't even know what it means to be fundable. So with the grant and the startup program, you and I have literally a surefire solution to that problem to help anyone have a fundable business. So that's probably the why we would want to lead with this. But what we're doing is setting goals for January and talking about the monetization. So we need to figure out how much you want to make in the month of January. And then we need to figure out how many client enrollments you need that will equal that. And then we can divide that by 30, 31 days. And that tells us on average how many enrollments we need per day. But let's talk about how you're paid under this model. You're paid on the front end and you're paid on the back end. So let's break that down very clearly. So when an individual participant enrolls in the grant, they automatically receive a $2,500 allocation. Automatically. They don't have to ask for it. They don't have to plead for it. They get it. So what the remaining balance then of the startup business funding package is $2,500. Now, if you're a distribution partner, keep in mind, you can make that more, you can make that less. You control the pricing, but I'm going to speak to the norm. The norm is keeping it at 5, giving them half from the grant, and then the participant pays the other half. So of that 2,500, which of course can be financed, that's not really the topic today, but your, what we call your branch, your business is going to generate gross income of $2,500 up front for each client that enrolls, and they can either pay out of pocket or finance it. That changes the process, but it doesn't change the numbers. So you're getting $2,500 per. Now, are there expenses of running a branch? Sure, there's an expense of running any business. You have to pay your utilities if you have office space. You'll probably want to pay yourself payroll if you get a company car. I mean, you're controlling the expenses, but we're talking about gross income for a moment. So we need to work backwards. How much income, bank deposits, not pretend money, not maybe money, but real money, deposited into your business bank account in the month of January. So let's pause for a moment, and if you will, I won't reveal who says what, but go ahead and type into the Q&A. It's like a chat box of Zoom, what your deposit goals, your income goals through our relationship are in January. So Anwar, Bobby, Carol, Charles, Cyrus, David, Eric, got multiple Erics, Gilbert. I need everyone just take a moment and go ahead and type it in. I'm not going to tell anyone else what you say, but I want to see what the average is, the mode, the most frequently stated number. And so then I'll build our model off of that. Iantha, Jahu, Jeanette, I want you to interact. I want you to take a moment and figure out in your head what your economic goal is for the month of January. Because if you don't have a goal, how will we be successful? How will we create a plan? Because the money is not made in the goal setting. The money is made in the implementation of the plan. But a strategy, it sure helps to have that end goal in mind, because we all have things that we could be doing other than educating and helping small businesses. But if we have a goal, which I'm asking each of you to take a moment to state, then we can create a plan to get there and monitor our progress. All right, so I see numbers all across the board, some as low as 15,000, some as high as 100,000. I'd say the average is 50,000, but it doesn't matter. It's up to you. So let's just go with 50,000. So let's say that for your branch, so as a distribution partner, how we're working together, let's just work off of 50,000 because that seems to be the most frequently stated number. Well, if you're making upfront, not even counting back-end money, which we can talk about, but that probably won't be recognized in January for clients that are enrolling in January. That'll come in February. There's a lag time for back-end income, right? Because it takes 30 to 60 days for a client to go through. Now, the good news is the clients you enrolled in December, you'll see back-end income in January, but we're trying to keep it simple for the moment. Let's assume you're new, or you didn't have any production in December, and we're planning for January. So if the goal is 50,000 in bank deposits, not AR, not pretend money, not hopeful money, not on the books, but not in your account, 50,000, and you divide that by 2,500, then how many clients do we need to develop in the month of January if our goal is to put $50,000 in our bank account? So we take $50,000 and divide it by 2,500. We need 20 new clients. 20. They can pay you up front or they can finance it. Again, separate conversation, but it's still the same to you up front. Now, again, you'll make money off the back end, which we'll set aside. So let's say that your goal is 50,000 for January. Now we need to have a strategy, a plan to enroll at least 20 clients. Well, how's that going to happen? Well, we need to figure out how we're going to create exposures, because there's no shortage of demand. There's lots and lots and lots of small business owners and or people that want to start a small business, that want to need capital, that don't have a fundable business that we can help with. So there's no shortage of potential prospects, but how do they find out about you? How do they know that you have a resource to assist them? Well, certainly going back to Wednesday's training, as we covered, networking, professional. And when I say professional networking, I'm talking about structured networking like BNI we talked about on Wednesday will certainly get you. I would fully expect that any of you that go back, and I can pull that up for any of you that missed it. So let me pop that up here. We talked about BNI. Yep, that was pretty unsuccessful. BNI Google search. Slowly, Business Networking International. So this would be one way that you could create the exposures to enroll at least 20 clients to make your 50,000 gross income in your bank account in the month of January. Now, there's other ways, but this is probably a surefire way. And again, I don't want to rehash this. We talked about it on Wednesday, but you can explore the site or watch Wednesday's training. What we find works really well, and maybe your approach is different, is through education. So rather we're creating exposures through BNI or other ways, what we encourage each of you to do, what we train each of you to do, what we support each of you in doing is teaching the 10 mistake curriculum. If you're not familiar with it, shame on you, and I guess shame on me, because you need to be. So take some time when you can. It's a PowerPoint presentation. We provide you the PowerPoint so you can teach it to your audiences. You can teach it to individuals, you can teach it to groups, small groups, large groups, in person, online, doesn't matter. But if you're familiar with this, I think you'll agree, I think it's a matter of fact, not a matter of opinion, it is a very effective way in helping entrepreneurs understand what keeps most small businesses from getting funded. Of course, that's referred to as the 10 mistakes. Well, the way that PowerPoint concludes, the last slide, which you can edit if you wish, essentially brings to their attention, now that they know what's probably keeping them from being fundable, that there is a grant and there is a resource that can help them, and you can facilitate that. Because I don't think most of us want to be quote unquote salespeople. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you instead see yourself as a financial literacy educator and seeking people and groups and organizations to educate, then you'll be able to generate the leads. Now, we said if our goal is 50,000 of bank deposits in your account in the month of January, we're going to need 20 enrollments. So one a day on weekdays, obviously backing out holiday and weekends. So with that, we know that we will average 85 to 87% of the people who go through the training, which is 30 minutes online, usually 1 hour in person, will typically enroll. So we don't have a 1-for-1 match. I had someone yesterday kind of frustrated. She said, well, what if I teach someone and they don't enroll? Then I wasted my time. Well, I guess so. But statistically, as long as you're enrolling 2 people, you'll enroll at least one of the 2. I mean, obviously, that's assuming a 50% enrollment, and we're averaging 85 to 87. So if you're teaching groups, it's always going to be worthwhile, because even if you taught a group of several people and if only one enrolled and you made 2,500, I mean, where else are you going to spend an hour, 1 hour of your time and make $2,500? Not many places legally. But it's true. We don't get paid to educate. We don't get paid to educate. You don't get paid to educate. But that's how we take and build our funnel and move them from prospects to clients. So rather it be interfacing with professionals you meet at BNI or other places, if you lead through education. So let's kind of wrap up the point. I would say if your goal is to make 50,000 in January, we're going to need 20 enrollments. And if we need 20 enrollments, we're going to need to teach more than 20, aren't we? Because we said we were only going to average 85 to 87% conversion rate. Let's keep it simple and just use round numbers and be conservative. We should aim to educate 30 people in January. If we educate 30 people in January, then we certainly expect at least 20 to enroll. Each will pay you $2,500. So the grant covers half. They pay the other half, which can be financed. And from that 2,500, you times that times 20. So there's our numbers. If the goal is 50,000 of deposits in your bank account in January, you need to enroll 20. We probably need to teach 30 to enroll 20 on a very conservative basis. So there we are. There's our marching orders. We need to start teaching. And then as we teach, we need attendees. It's very easy. Well, that's probably not true. It's relatively simple to get a Zoom account, take the PowerPoint that we've provided you, and if you don't have it, make sure you let us know when we need to get it to you. You can call us or email us. But we'll get you the PowerPoint, and then you can start teaching that via Zoom. If I were you, I would be setting up a daily Zoom. And I know a number of you do this, like Eric and Veronica. A number of you teach daily, and that's what I'd recommend. Consistency makes it easy. So maybe you say every evening at 7 p.m., you're going to teach this. Now, some sessions you might have 28 people. Some sessions you might have 2 people. You might even have 0 and 1, but it starts with the commitment to say, in January, I'm going to start teaching this 10-mistake curriculum via Zoom, and having it on a daily basis makes it easiest for people to remember. Because if you don't do it daily, it's something less frequent than daily. So now people have to remember, well, when was it? Was it today? Did I miss it? Is it tomorrow? But I would recommend getting a Zoom account, setting up a reoccurring workshop daily, whatever time of the day you want, and teach it every day. Now, you'll log on, and again, you'll see how many people are there, and maybe there's no one there. But it starts with that commitment to teach. Now, we need to get attendees to attend your workshop so they can be educated, so they enroll, and it makes you money. I understand that. But once you have that workshop curriculum, now you've got something really to talk about when you go to BNI or when you're interfacing with churches or chambers. What you can say is, hey, I'm a financial literacy educator. I'm working with a grant that we've received to help fund startup small businesses. We do an educational session on a daily basis, 7 p.m. local time every evening via Zoom. But you know what? If you would like, I could come to your church, or I could come to your chamber, or I could come to your apartment complex, and I could teach it in person for your sphere of influence if you wanted. So that's what I found to work best. Have your webinars, financial literacy workshops set up, have it on a reoccurring schedule, so it's real easy to say, oh, it's every evening at 7 p.m. Doesn't have to be that way, but I'm just showing you, if you have it daily at the same time, it's real simple to state. You don't have to say, oh, I'm having one next Friday, and then I might have one on a Monday later. No one's going to remember that. But if you set it up consistently, and then what I would do, and we talked about this yesterday, you can go to Vistaprint. Let me pull it up. Vistaprint.com. And I don't make any money from BNI or from Vistaprint, but you can slowly, this will come up. You can go to Vistaprint and get business cards printed for next to nothing. Well, my computer's slow today, isn't it? Too many tabs open, probably. It'll open in a second. But you can get business cards printed. I think it was like $18 or something for 100 business cards from Vistaprint. So you can put your information on front, but on the back, you could create the reference to your daily workshops. And so they flip over the card and they know when your financial literacy workshop is and how to register it. Register for it. So business cards, scroll down and we'll make sure that wasn't too far off. Yeah, 100 of them at 18. So you could print on the back side the link to join for your webinar. So a little bit of effort, yes, but I think it's very reasonable to make 50,000 or more in the month of January if we have a strategy. Now I'll close on this. From the small business owner's perspective, they need a strategy, right? What are they planning to do in the year ahead? And do they have the capital they need to accomplish it? Most small businesses don't have enough capital to reach their potential. So once you've interfaced with the client, the prospective client, it's simply a question, well, how much funding are you looking for? And is your business fundable? Again, most of them won't know what that means. That's why you want to educate them, as we talked about. But what you and I know is there's a number of elements that's necessary. We need to have all of these. We need to have a good address. We need to be in good state of Secretary of State. We need to have an EIN and a business bank account open. We need to have a strong business credit profile. We need to have a strong balance sheet with collateral. At that point, then we're ready to go to funding. So what's the point? In closing, small businesses, and you all are small businesses too, right? So in addition to being a distribution partner, you are a small business. But for prospective clients, how much funding are they looking for? Is their business fundable? And if they don't know, bring them in here. If they do know if they're fundable or not, then if they are fundable, they should be able to just go right to funding. But you and I know most of these small businesses aren't, and they don't even know what that means. All right, so any questions, comments, concerns that any of you have today? In short, our message today was create a strategy, have a goal for January of how much money you want to make, divide that by 2,500, which is your gross income for each enrollment. That tells you how many people you need to enroll. Then divide that by 31 days. That's how many days are in January. So then you know how many people you need to enroll on average per day. So it's very easy to get up and say, well, I better enroll one today. But several of you want to generate 100,000, which is great. We have Sally, we have John, we have Trevor. There's a bunch of you that want to generate 100,000. Well, fine. It's just quantifying what your daily conversions need to be and making sure that you're creating the adequate exposures, which we recommend creating exposures to your financial literacy education, because it's almost automatic. Maybe you get this, maybe you don't. It's almost automatic. If they'll attend your workshop, nearly everyone enrolls. So what's the point? You don't need to worry about enrolling people. That's going to happen organically. You need to worry about teaching people because they don't know. They don't know what you know, that there is a formula for funding, that there's a specific set of steps that if any business were to follow, they're fundable. They don't know that. So teach them, and then their enrollment is almost automatic, 85 to 87% of the time. All right. So with that being said, we like to keep our training a little bit shorter on Fridays. We won't be together Monday because of the holiday. We'll be back Tuesday morning. Now we're certainly open today. We've got a ton of activity going on. We're having a record-setting month in December. So we're here to close deals, to get new businesses formed, get businesses funded. So let us know what we can do to help you. Of course, you know how to reach us via phone, via email. And we'll see you back here on the next Zoom on Monday morning. I'm sorry, Tuesday morning. No Zoom on Monday. See you back here Tuesday morning. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.